Anyone who does drugs will tell you that there's always that gateway one. And it's the same with board games. Maybe when you were growing up you played Monopoly or you played Yahtzee or Mousetrap, but it's not until you play that game as a grown-up or even as a teenager that you realize, wow, board games are kind of cool. Today we're going to be reviewing a game that's been around for a while, but we feel it needs to be talked about because it was our gateway game. We went over to some friend's house, played this, and from then on we were hooked into board games. It's about a little town called Waterdeep. This is Lords of Waterdeep.
In Lords of the Waterdeep, you are a lord or lady of Waterdeep. And this is the map of Waterdeep. And you are one of these lords or ladies. This one, he's got a lot of sun. In any case, in most D&D games, this is based on the D&D world. You're probably a wizard or a barbarian or some kind of warrior questing. In this game, you're actually the people who puts them on the quest. You are the lord who sends out your warriors, your wizards and stuff to complete quests. And you try to obtain land and you win with victory points at the end. So these are quests here that you obtain. And these orange cubes here, they represent warriors, wizards, clerics, and assassins. And so they're only cubes and stuff, but you send them out on these quests after you have collected them from these various locations of Waterdeep. You basically hire them. And that's basically what it's about. You hire these fools and you send them on these, quests and missions so you can beat them, or beat the game, rather, and beat other people. So you can take their land and their wealth.
So essentially, Lords of Waterdeep is just a worker placement game. You're sending out your little recruiting agents to recruit different types of soldiers, be it clerics or assassins or warriors or purple cubes. That's all they really are, is cubes. And as you collect them, you're turning in quests. But there's a little bit more to it because, see, your lord is special. Your lord wants a certain type of quest to be completed. Now, you can complete any quest you want, but if I complete Piety and Skullduggery, it means I'm going to get extra points at the end of the game, and your lord is kept secret. So this can be a big turning point. In the end of the game, it can throw everything up if you suddenly just earn 20 points just by doing quests that you've already completed. You can also even buy properties, and that becomes a big aspect of the game because the properties open up new slots and new blocks that can be obtained. They also earn their owner's blocks every time another player goes to them, so they become sort of this thing that you really, really want to vie to own. And since only one person can buy one per round, it becomes very, very important that you get to that as quickly as possible, and that first player token becomes more and more important every single round as the game goes on for 8 rounds.
So as you're sending out your troops, your men, your wizards, clerics, warriors, and assassins out to complete missions, such as this one, Skullduggery, place a sleeper agent in Skullport. You've completed it with these agents here. You had 1 warrior, 4, assassins, and 1 wizard, sorry. And so the thing is, when you get the reward, there is also this thing here that says it's a plot quest. What that means is that after you've completed this quest, you kind of leave this out on the board here. And in this card in particular, it says whenever you play 1 intrigue card, you score 2 victory points. So from now on, because you have completed this quest, you now have this plot quest, which accrues you other resources and other things based on specific conditions, which is really fun. And now, intrigue cards are cards that you can also get in this game, like here, here, and here. And when you get these cards, you can play them, and they basically do little things like this one says it's assassination, it's an attack, and what it really does is it helps you to get more resources. And this one, it says each opponent removes a black block, which is an assassin, from his or her tavern and returns it to supply. And for each one that could not do so, take 2 coins from the supply and place it in your tavern. So intrigue cards are like these little plot twists or little things that you do to screw with other people who play in the game so that you can get things. And now there's different types of intrigue cards, and one in particular is a mandatory quest. If one of your opponents is doing really, really well, completing lots and lots of quests, you might want to give them this mandatory quest. It's basically a bull crap quest that you give them, and they have to complete it before they complete any other quests. So it kind of wastes their time, and they're like, damn you!
But oh my gosh, we haven't even talked about one of my favorite parts of this game. Now, this is where we get a little nerdy, so bear with us. This box. Oh my god. When you start getting into board games, you're going to notice something about boxes. They're either awesome and fit everything perfectly and make your life 10 times easier by being themselves, or they're terrible and they just force you to fight tooth over nail to fit everything in the box after that first time when you break everything apart. This is one of those first examples. There are places for all the cubes. There's exactly the perfect amount of space for all the money and the victory points. Everything fits perfectly in here with all the characters. And then underneath, there's perfect fit sections for all the agents, for every single color, and all their little markers, and all their little building markers. And then the card places are perfectly built, and oh my god, so many games could learn from this. These card holders are built so that if you press down on the side, they lift up so you can easily pull them out. This box makes my life easier, and it is a gorgeous example of the way that a board game box should be. It's accessible. In fact, it's so accessible that I like to leave it out on the table when we're playing the game because it's so easy to reach in and grab things. Everybody can use it as a bank, and it's not counterintuitive. And more games should have this. I know it sounds silly, it's just a box, but it's so nice to have everything organized so well. I think my favorite thing about Lords of Waterdeep is that it seems at first to anybody who's new to board games like a really complicated game. It kind of like demands your attention when it's on the table. I remember when we first walked into the room.
we walked in on it and we're like, whoa,
what is this? Yeah. Now that we've played a lot of board games and we've really gotten into this, it's really not very complicated. It's actually probably one of the simplest games I think we own. I would have to say, like, actually, the fewest amount of rules and the fewest things to understand. But I think that's what's so great about it, is that it seems really complicated and it looks really intricate. And so it gets your friends kind of in that zone of thinking, well, if I can play this, I could play these more complicated games. And that's why it is such a nice gateway game, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are your other thoughts?
You know, I think thematically it's really actually really good because if I actually did read these cards, there's actually quotes underneath the stuff that give you a little story elements. Like, this is a warfare card. It says, deliver weapons to Selûne's temple. And then underneath there's a quote that says, make sure these armaments reach the temple safely. And there's a really nice illustration. And the thing is, when we play, at least when I play, I don't pay attention to the illustrations or the quotes at all. And I really enjoy the game. But I'm thinking, wow, if you actually kind of look at, what else is involved, it's really actually very thematic. Yeah. And the illustrations are actually really nice. Yeah. And so maybe it'll enhance your enjoyment if you actually paid attention to what these quests really are. But really, the game isn't about what it says on the card. It's really just about matching up those blocks and getting those blocks, and then you get the card when you get that many blocks, and then getting points. That's at the base of it. That's kind of what it is. But I don't know. We love it. This is our entry-level game. Yeah.
And I will say, we didn't mention this, but this game is for 2 to 5 players. But there is an expansion that adds it up to 6 players, and it adds all kinds of fun things like extra areas, and it adds like I said, it adds another player. It also adds things where you have to give up blocks to get blocks. I think that's a really cool aspect. But I will also say, if board games are something you're new to, and this looks like something fun to you, but you're scared of kind of taking that plunge and spending $40 on a game, or I think this is $40 or $50, there is a fantastic iPad, iPhone app of Lords of Waterdeep. It is I cannot say that word enough. It is fantastic. We actually play that more often than the board game just because it's so much easier than setting up the whole game.
And we can play each other over the phone, like...
Yeah, we can play each other online.
Wherever we are. And not even together.
Right. If you're interested in trying it out, but you don't have a place near you where you can try it, or you just want a chance to just give it a try, download the app because it's much less expensive and it'll give you a really good taste of what this game has to offer. But I'm telling you, this is a fantastic game, and especially if you're starting to get into board games, it's a great place to start. Or if you're like us and you like to get all of your friends who never play board games to play board games, this is a great one to start them on.
You know, the only thing I would say that would make this game, I don't know if it would be better, but I would enjoy if the orange cubes and the black cubes and the purple cubes and the white cubes
all got along.
Well, no, if they actually were like, I don't know, they represented what they represent a little more. Because the reason why I keep forgetting what they are is because they're orange cubes and black cubes. But really, oranges are warriors, blacks are assassins, whites are clerics, and wizards are purple. Yeah. So if they had like little people that represent them, even if it was like that,
it'd be easier to remember.
Yeah, I would actually treat it more like, oh, I'm recruiting these agents, these workers, or whatever, versus I'm just buying blocks so I can complete this card and get some points.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in the whole I'm buying blocks business. But I will say that as far as buying, passing, or just darn playing this, I say buy it. I love this game. Yeah. It's really fun, and like I said, it's a great game because it seems so much more complicated than it actually is, so it'll really get you kind of into that spirit of, you know, a little bit more complex game, and it's just really fun.
I definitely think it's a great gateway game in general for game night, for when you invite some new people. This will wow them by just like, whoa, what is this? But then it becomes so simple, and they realize, oh, wow, this is so much fun. I love this game. We've done that many times with other people who've never played, games as, you know, more complicated or less commercial mainstream games.
Yeah. So we definitely say buy it. And
for game night.
You can definitely check us out on Twitter. I'm at Cat. This is at K'C'arl. This is the first time we're going to do this, but I'm going to throw it out there. You can also check us out on Instagram. He's also at K'C'arl. I am at EasyCat. We'll put those down below. We also have blogs, so check those out. Yeah, if there is a game you think we should review, please let us know.
Yeah. Or send it to us, and we will
Or send it to us, and yes, that's the other thing. If you're making a game or you're kickstarting a game, we would gladly review that for you. Just let us know. You can contact us on Twitter.
If we really like it and you sent it to us, maybe we'll like go out in the street and like, you know,
literally throw the pieces at people until they play it.
Oh, well, I don't know. Then we'll be missing some pieces in the game.
Oh, that would suck. Anyway, we will see you guys next time on game night. Next night on game night. Be sure to like and subscribe. Game night. We just really don't know how to end a video.